This is going to be our third and final simulation of the day. So we are going to simulate pulling a card from a deck of cards. So we're going to, in the same Google Sheet, we're going to add a sheet, and we're going to name it. We can rename it, or you can double click, and we'll name it our cards sheet. And so, like usual, we're going to have our trial column, and let's do 50 trials for this one. Obviously, the more trials you can run, the better. The more data you're going to get, and then maybe the better conclusions you can make. And then, in order to randomly pick a card from a deck of cards, we are first going to, in column B, we're going to call this the suit column. Then column C is going to be the actual card of that suit. And then D is going to be the combination of those two previous columns. So to put in the formula for picking a randomly suit, we're going to use the choose formula. So in cell B2, you're going to type in equals choose, and then in brackets rand between, and we're going to choose, we want it to pick a number between 1 and 4, so we're going to go 1, comma 4, because we want there to be 4 options, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we want those options to be hearts, diamonds, clubs, and spades. So by typing in this formula, it will choose a random number between 1 and 4, and then it'll, if it's a 1, it'll be hearts, if it's a 2, it'll be diamonds, if it picks 3, it'll be clubs, and if it picks 4, it'll be spades. Let's try to spell it correctly. End bracket, hit enter. There we go. So we randomly pick a suit, and we can fill that down for 50 trials. Let's keep going with picking a card. So now we're going to do another choose formula, and then in brackets we're going to do rand between, and this time it's going to be 1 and 13, and that's because the 1 would be the ace, and then this is going to take a little while, but there's a 2, there's a 3, so be careful with your quotation marks and your commas. Don't go too fast. And all the way up to not just 10, but then we've got to pick a jack or a queen or a king. So that should be 13 different options. And there we go. Now we have our, we can hit that control enter, hit the check mark, and it auto fills for us. So there we go. Now we have our card. And then we have our combination. So we can do equals, and we are going to use this command called concatenate. I hope that's how you pronounce it. It strings two things together, so it's C-O-N-C-A-T-E-N-A-T-E, and we're just going to do, I'm going to actually go bracket, click on the suit, the hearts, that first entry, comma, click on the first entry in the cards, bracket, enter, and then that is going to give us our card. So if it's ace of clubs, ace of spades, etc. Sorry, I had to pause my video and go get something done. So I'm back to finish this simulation. You'll notice that maybe it looks like my screen has changed, my experiment has run again, so randomly the spreadsheet has chosen different cards, but that's okay. What we're going to do first, so it doesn't keep changing, is we're going to highlight those cells, the ones that have the card selections, and you're going to copy it by either right-clicking or going to Edit, Copy, and then you right-click again, or go to Edit, and you're going to paste Special, and you're going to paste Values Only. That's going to stop the experiment from keep running. It's going to solidify those results as they are. And then we can check some probabilities here. We can use that count if function to check out the probability of selecting any single card. So let's look at the probability of getting a Queen of Hearts. So you're going to go equals count if bracket, and then you can either type in the cells you want to look into, or you can highlight by clicking and dragging down for that column of cells you want to search for Queen of Hearts. Or type in column D, right? So it would be D2 colon D51. Then you're going to type in comma, and you're going to use quotation marks, and you're going to search for Hearts Queen, because that's how we that's how the results popped up. End quotation. Just make sure you type that in exactly as it looks. End bracket, enter, and see how many Queen of Hearts there are. Maybe you get 0 because maybe you didn't get any. Maybe you got 1, 2, or 3. Think about it, how likely that is. If you have a deck of 52 cards and you're going to pick one out, what should the chances be of selecting a Queen of Hearts? We can change it into a percentage by going equals, clicking on the cell for how many Queen of Hearts you found, and then dividing by 50, and that'll give us the percentage. So we're going to do that same process, but we're going to do it based on the suits and based on a type of card. So let's start with hearts. Let's just see what the chances are of selecting one card out of a deck to see if it's a heart or not. So same formula, equals count if, bracket, and then this is in column B, so it's going to be B2 colon B51, comma, and then you're going to type in quotation marks hearts. And again, just make sure you put a capital, make sure you put it as a plural if that's how it was entered in the formula. See how many you get, and then in the cell below type in equals, click on the cell, divide by 50 to see what the percentage is. So I want you to do that for each suit, as well as for a few of the types of cards. So we can also do it for the queens, any suit, Queen of Hearts, Queen of Diamonds, Queen of Spades, or Queen of Clubs. Same formula, equals count if, and then you are going to see how many there are, turn it into percentage, and think about your experimental probability. Is how close is it to your theoretical probability? What should happen in theory? So to do that for the other suits and the other cards, you can just copy and paste those cells, and then you just have to change the appropriate words. So if you want to do a different suit, copy those 3 cells, Control C, pick a different cell to paste them in, change the title, but more importantly, make sure you change the formula. So if you're looking for clubs now, make sure you double click on that cell and change out hearts for clubs. So you're going to do that for hearts, clubs, spades, and diamonds. When you get that done for all 4 suits, then I want you to insert a note anywhere you want, but I guess at the top of the page would be great. And I want you to compare the chances for each of those suits. So compare the probability of picking a heart versus a club versus a spades versus a diamond. And then tell me what you would expect it to be theoretically what should those chances be for selecting a heart or a different suit. After you answer those questions in a note, then you are going to go also search for how many kings, how many jacks, and how many aces. So after you've done that, after you've searched for queens, kings, jacks, and aces, then you can also put in a note at the top of the page and compare those percentages, those probabilities, those experimental probabilities. Are they similar? Are they different? Are they close to each other? And then also explain to me what theoretically what should the chances be for selecting a queen or a king, or really any card in a deck where you're not concerned about what the suit is. So type in those notes, answer those questions, and then you're going to share this Google Sheet with all three sheets in it, with all three simulations with me, so I can see the results, and then I can collate all of your results together to see what kind of results we get if we ran the simulation more than 50 times. What happens if it's 50 times 10 simulations? Okay, so good luck, answer those questions, and then share your spreadsheet with me.